Rain hammered against the windshield like 1,000 tiny bullets. Detective Ryan Keller tightened his grip on the steering wheel, eyes fixed on the glowing red, and blue strobes flashing up ahead. He'd been on the force for 17 years, but the scene waiting for him in the quiet suburbs of Oakridge was unlike anything he'd ever seen. A single-story ranch house stood with its front door hanging open, the smell of iron and smoke drifting into the night. Inside, a family of 3 lay sprawled in the living room. The mother's eyes were wide, frozen in horror. The father's hand was still clutching the remote, the teenage daughter gone before she even had a chance to live. Ryan's partner whispered, execution style, all of them. In the corner of the room, a message had been scrawled in thick black marker across the white wall. Justice isn't blind, it's coming. Ryan felt the chill run down his spine. This wasn't random. This was the beginning of something calculated, something bigger, and deep down, he knew the killer wasn't finished. The house had turned into a circus of uniforms and flashing lights. Crime scene techs moved around the living room like ants, snapping photographs, bagging evidence, murmuring quietly into radios. Reporters already crowded the street outside, their lenses hungry for blood. Detective Keller crouched near the scrawled message on the wall. The words were jagged, uneven, almost furious. Whoever wrote it wanted attention. "Looks like we've got ourselves a manifesto in the making," said Detective Carla Ruiz, his partner. Her dark hair was tied back, face sharp with focus. She tapped her notepad. Neighbors say they heard nothing until about 10 minutes before the 911 call. Just 3 sharp pops, then silence. Ryan glanced at the bodies again. Clean shots, head, head, head. No hesitation, no struggle, no robbery, just execution. Targeted hit. He muttered. Carla nodded. But why them? Father's an accountant, mother's a school teacher, kid was a varsity cheerleader. No criminal ties, no debts, nothing. Ryan's gut twisted. He'd learned to trust instinct over reports. Something was off. Families didn't just get erased without a reason. As he stood, the medical examiner wheeled over. Dr. Stanton, a wiry man with permanent coffee stains on his scrubs, removed his gloves. Time of death roughly an hour ago. Gunshot wounds, small caliber, close range, clean work. Ryan frowned. Professional. Stanton confirmed. A shout came from the hallway. Detective Keller, you need to see this. They followed an officer into the daughter's bedroom. Posters of pop stars lined the walls, books scattered across the desk. But what drew their eyes was the bed, a black envelope placed neatly on the pillow. Ryan slipped on gloves and opened it. Inside was a single sheet of paper, typed in bold letters. This family was the first. You won't stop what's coming. Don't even try. Carla cursed under her breath. Son of a bitch wants us to chase him. Ryan folded the note, jaw tightening. He'd seen killers taunt cops before. They all wanted to be smarter, bigger, untouchable. But this one was declaring war by 3 a.m. The crime scene was sealed, the bodies transported, and the street quiet again. Ryan sat in his unmarked car, exhaustion pulling at him. He lit a cigarette, ignoring the fact that he'd promised to quit. Carla slid into the passenger seat. So, what's your read? He blew smoke into the night. This isn't about the family. They're just the canvas. The real message is for us. He's daring us. Carla leaned back. Then we better answer. Ryan stared at the empty street, the scrawled words still burning in his mind. Justice isn't blind. It's coming. He didn't know who the killer was yet. But he knew one thing. Oakridge had just become the hunting ground, and Detective Ryan Keller had no choice but to play. 2 days later, Oakridge was already unraveling. News of the triple homicide had splashed across every major network. Anchors leaned into the sensationalism. The Justice Killer, one station called him, the name sticking faster than Ryan Keller liked. The department was under siege. Politicians wanted answers, the community wanted blood, and the killer, whoever he was, had gone silent since the first strike. Ryan sat in the task force briefing room, walls plastered with photos of the murdered family, maps of Oakridge pinned with red tacks, and a timeline scrawled across a whiteboard. Officers muttered in low voices, the air thick with caffeine and frustration. Captain Briggs, a gruff man with a voice like gravel, slammed a folder onto the table. "We have nothing. No prints, no DNA, no witnesses. Whoever this bastard is, he's either lucky or damn good." Carla leaned forward. "He's not lucky, he's careful. He wanted us to find that message. He wants the attention, which means he'll strike again." Briggs nodded. "Then we need to predict where." Ryan's eyes scanned the crime scene photos. The family of 3 ordinary people, no known enemies, but the words on the wall. Justice isn't blind, it's coming. Justice. Something clicked in his mind. What if he's not picking random families? What if he thinks he's punishing them? Carla turned toward him. "Punishing for what?" Ryan pointed at the father's file. He was an accountant, worked at a firm that handled several high-profile fraud cases. Maybe he testified. Maybe he signed off on something dirty. Briggs grunted. "You're saying this killer thinks he's judge, jury, and executioner?" Ryan nodded slowly. "Exactly." That afternoon, Ryan and Carla drove across town to Oakridge General Hospital. Not because of the case, at least not directly. Ryan's wife, Emily, worked as a trauma nurse there, and it was the only place where Ryan could clear his head. But the hospital had its own connection. The murdered mother, Laura Miller, had once worked in the pediatric ward. Emily met them in the cafeteria, exhaustion etched into her face. She wore her scrubs stained from a 12-hour shift. "You look like hell," she said, kissing Ryan lightly before sliding into the seat across from them. "What's going on with this case? The whole hospital's buzzing about it." Ryan rubbed his temples. "That's the problem. We've got a ghost. Nothing to hold on to except his damn riddles." Emily's eyes softened. "Be careful, Rye. You get too close to these monsters. They don't just haunt your cases. They haunt your home." Carla broke the silence. Did Laura Miller ever mention anything strange at work? Patients, coworkers, anyone holding a grudge? Emily thought for a moment. "Not that I remember. Laura was sweet, loved her patients, but..." She hesitated. "Last year there was talk about budget cuts. Some staff thought she was pushing management to let certain employees go. Maybe someone took that personal." Ryan scribbled a note. "It wasn't much, but it was something." That night, just past midnight, the second strike came. Dispatch lit up the radio. Shots fired. Residential neighborhood. 4 victims. Suspect fled the scene. Ryan's tires screamed as he tore through Oakridge's dark streets. By the time he arrived, the flashing lights were already painting the quiet cul-de-sac. Another house, another family, this time 2 parents and 2 young sons, all shot in their beds. And on the living room wall, another message in thick, furious letters. "The guilty always hide behind innocence." Carla whispered, "Jesus Christ." Ryan felt the weight pressing down harder. The killer wasn't slowing down. He was accelerating. And worse, the words confirmed his fear. This wasn't random. These families were being judged. But by whose standards? He scanned the room, his instincts buzzing. Then he saw it. Another envelope placed neatly on the kitchen table. Inside, "You think you understand. You don't. This city is rotten, and I will prove it, one family at a time." Carla slammed her fist on the counter. "This bastard's taunting us." Ryan stared at the letter. His mind raced, connecting dots that weren't there yet. 2 families, 2 massacres, both messages tied to guilt, justice, innocence. But what was the connection between them? Ryan turned toward Carla, voice low and hard. "He's building a case, and unless we stop him, Oakridge is about to be put on trial." The air in Oakridge had turned electric. Fear hung over the city like storm clouds that refused to break. 2 families murdered, no arrests, and a killer who seemed to be playing chess while the police chased shadows. Detective Ryan Keller hadn't slept in 48 hours. He sat in the precinct's incident room, the killer's notes spread across the table like exhibits in a courtroom. Justice isn't blind, it's coming. The guilty always hide behind innocence. This city is rotten, one family at a time. The words weren't just taunts, they were verdicts. Carla Ruiz paced behind him, sipping cold coffee. 2 families in less than a week. If he sticks to his pattern, there's another coming soon. Ryan circled the word justice on the board. Not random, not insane, methodical. He believes he's delivering justice, which means he has a system. Carla frowned. A system for what? Ryan tapped the victim's files. For judging. Both families were ordinary on the surface, but dig deeper. The father in case 1 worked at an accounting firm that handled fraud cases. The mother in case 2 was a lawyer who defended corporate clients accused of environmental violations. Carla's eyes widened. You're saying he thinks these families benefited from corruption, that they're complicit? Exactly. To him, they're guilty. The breakthrough came the next afternoon. Forensics traced both typed letters to the same antique typewriter, a rare model from the 1970s. Only a handful of them had ever been sold in the county. Ryan and Carla followed the lead to a small, cluttered shop on Main Street, Thompson's Office Supply. The bell above the door jingled as they entered, dust motes dancing in the sunlight. An old man emerged from the back, hunched, his hands stained with ink. Can I help you? Ryan held up a photo of the typewritten note. We're looking for this machine. The old man squinted. That's an Adler. Haven't seen one in years. Sold one not long ago, actually, to a fellow named Daniel Hawker, mid-40s, clean cut, seemed intense. Ryan's pulse quickened. Do you have an address? The man nodded, rummaged through a drawer, and handed over a carbon copy of the receipt. Daniel Harker lived in a modest 2-story house on the edge of Oakridge, near the woods. No criminal record. Former military. Once worked as a private investigator. His file painted the picture of a man who believed in order, discipline, and perhaps a warped sense of justice. By nightfall, Ryan and Carla were parked outside the house, waiting. The windows were dark, the yard overgrown, no sign of movement. Feels too quiet. Carla muttered. Ryan checked his weapon. That's because he knows we're coming. They moved in, flashlights slicing through the gloom. Inside, the house was neat, almost obsessively so. Shelves lined with law books, military manuals, and newspaper clippings, and on the wall above the desk, photographs of both murdered families, marked with red ink. On the desk sat the Adler typewriter. Next to it, a fresh sheet of paper still clamped in the roller. The words half-typed, "The 3rd family will fall tonight." Carla's voice was tight. He's planning right now. Ryan grabbed the paper, scanning the unfinished lines. An address was listed at the bottom, Oakridge Heights, a wealthy neighborhood on the north side of town. They didn't wait. By the time they reached Oakridge Heights, rain was falling hard again. The target was clear. The Stanton family, wealthy real estate developers with deep political ties. Their mansion glowed with warm light, laughter drifting from an upstairs window. Ryan's gut clenched. The killer was already here. Move, he shouted, rushing toward the house. Inside, chaos erupted. A masked man stood in the living room, gun leveled at the Stanton family, husband, wife, and their young son, all kneeling on the floor. Police, drop it. Carla barked. The man turned slowly. His eyes burned with conviction, not madness. They don't deserve saving. They profit off the suffering of others. They're parasites. Ryan aimed squarely at him. This isn't justice, Hawker. It's murder. Hawker's voice rose, trembling with fury. The courts are broken. The system protects the powerful. So I will be the system. The standoff stretched, rain pelting the windows, everyone frozen on a knife's edge. Ryan's mind raced. If he lunged, the family would die. If he waited, Hawker might pull the trigger anyway, so he tried something else. You were a PI. Ryan said softly. You once believed in the law. Somewhere along the line, you lost faith. But this, killing families, that's not justice. That's vengeance. Hawker's jaw tightened. His finger twitched on the trigger. Ryan took a slow step forward. You think you're proving a point, but all you've proven is that you're just like the people you claim to hate. You're the rot now. For a flicker of a second, doubt crossed Harker's face, and that was all Ryan needed. The gunshot cracked through the air. Ryan fired first. Harker collapsed, the pistol clattering to the floor. The Stanton family screamed, alive but shaken. Carla rushed to secure the scene. Ryan stood over Harker's body, chest heaving, the killer's last words echoing in his mind. The courts are broken. The system protects the powerful. The following morning, Oakridge woke to headlines declaring the justice killer dead. Relief swept through the city, but Ryan Keller felt no relief. He sat alone in his car, cigarette burning between his fingers, staring at the sunrise. Emily had been right. Monsters didn't just haunt their cases, they haunted their homes. And though Harker was gone, Ryan knew the questions he raised weren't. Was justice truly blind, or was it just another mask people wore until someone like Harker ripped it off? Ryan didn't have the answer. He only knew the hunt was over. For now, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.